Hello everyone, welcome to Taiwan Bar. Today we're going to talk about a badass city, the city of dragons. Like Rome, it wasn't built in a day. We mean Taipei when we refer to the city nowadays. But the former stylish and trendy Sky Dragon city was not Taipei, but Tainan, baby! But why was the gourmet paradise Tainan? Wow, I'm hungry now. Why was Tainan eventually replaced by Taipei? 1839. Knock knock. Who's there? We the British in the Opium War. This was the first time ever the Qing dynasty was defeated by a Western nation. What a fresh experience! China signed the Treaty of Nanjing and ceded Hong Kong to the British Empire. It was also because of this defeat that China's closed borders were penetrated by Western artillery, and ports were forced to go away! Not one, but 5 ports, Shanghai, Xiamen, Guangzhou, Fuzhou, and Ningbo, were forcibly opened for trade. Thus began the years of extensive trading. In 1856, knock knock, who's there? We the British again, in the Second Opium War, and we also brought our friends this time, the French. Bonjour, bonjour! En deux, during the Second Opium War, the coalition knocked the lights out of the Qing dynasty. They signed the Tianjin Treaty and the Beijing Convention. These unequal treaties exposed how weak the Qing dynasty was. The Europeans and Americans seized this opportunity to milk the country dry. They demanded the Qing dynasty to open more ports for foreign trade. Taiwan was forced to open Danshui and Keelung in the north and Anping and Dago in the south. 4 ports in total. Merchants and missionaries came pouring in. Knock knock. Who's there? No one, just pulling your leg. Hey, cut it out! After ports were opened and the foreigners came, how did this string of events impact Taiwan? Why was the capital of Taiwan moved from the south way up to the north? How was the northern Sky Dragon born? Taiju must sit, young Padawan. With the opening of Taiwan's ports, businesses took off. The impact on the economy was humongous. After 1860, merchant boats from all over the world came visiting. Trade was on the rise again in Taiwan. Aside from the importation of a great amount of foreign products, opium, and textiles, there were 3 products exported that put Taiwan on the map again. These were known as the Taiwanese 3 treasures. Hey, I'm not referring to the top 3 signs of reckless driving in Taiwan. I'm talking about the famous sugar, tea, and camphor, with this being the most iconic product, tea! Tea was rather common in Taiwan, but for the rest of the world it was a rare commodity. Everyone was scrambling to have a sip of tea. In 1865, an English merchant named John Dodd came to Taipei to shop. He bought some camphor, sold some opium. That's when he realized, ouch! The hills in Taiwan seem to be well suited for tea planting. Very good, very good! He brought over tea seedlings from Anxi, Fujian, wanting to give it a try. When he tasted the tea, it was absolutely delightful. Up and away! So he encouraged the local farmers to plant tea. After Dodd introduced the tea processing technology, he brought the tea to New York to be sold. It was an unexpected hit. This is sweet! This in America soon became the popular and famous Formosan oolong tea. Dodd picked a site at Dadaocheng and built Dodd & Company to start doing business. Are you sure? Didn't our teachers say 一府二鹿三艋舺, meaning these were the most developed cities during the Qing dynasty? Why didn't Dodd choose any of those cities? The top choice should be Mengjia. Why did he choose Dadaocheng? I got it. Mengjia was a big city. The housing prices must have been crazy. That's why Dodd chose... On second thought, Dadaocheng was visually stunning, with a breathtaking view, so Alex do... Hey, cut it out, man! Enough with those real estate commercials. We're talking about Dodd, not do! This time I'm sure. It must be... Of course Dodd was no fool. After all, his first option was indeed the northern center of Mengjia. But the locals weren't very welcoming. Yo, foreigner, what you doing in our place? They didn't want Dodd doing business in Mengjia. It even escalated into a head-on clash. Dodd could no longer stay in Mengjia. You know, I came in peace. So instead, he went to Dadaocheng. And those who lived in Dadaocheng were exiled to Dadaocheng because they also had a hard time living in Mengjia. That's why these folks were more accepting of others and foreign cultures. Respect, tolerance, kindness. Whoa, what's happening? So Dodd moved to Dadaocheng and began the golden age of Taiwanese tea. The Taiwanese became jealous and introduced a new brand of tea to the market, the fruity and sweet Baozhong tea. The Taiwanese proved that they didn't need to rely on foreigners to pave their way into a new market, Southeast Asia. There was a reason why Taiwanese tea was so popular worldwide. It was top quality. Tea leaves accounted for over half of the amount of Taiwan's exports. Economically, Dadaocheng gradually surpassed Mongjia, which resisted to change. And as tea was planted mostly on the hills in northern Taiwan, Taiwan's economic center gradually shifted northwards. See? That's the reason why the capital of Taiwan moved from the south to the north. Hold up, let me clarify something. If the world came to know Taiwan's tea, then where did all the tea shops in Dadaocheng disappear to? Dadaocheng used to be filled with tea shops. Why is Dadaocheng now known for selling Chinese New Year goodies instead? Yo, you got a problem with New Year goodies? Back to the topic. Mongjia couldn't adapt to the times, so Dadaocheng gradually took its place. But who would have thought that the ever-adaptable Dadaocheng would only have its 15 minutes of fame and faded like a shooting star? In hindsight, well, let's take a look here. There were a few reasons as to why Dadaocheng fell from grace. For example, in the late 1880s, when the world was revolving around the Industrial Revolution, everyone yearned for technological innovation and industrial transformation to be at the forefront of the era. But the Taiwanese tea industry said, nah, no thanks. Industrialization for tea sounds like ew. Nah, pass. On the other hand, the rise of the Indian tea and Ceylon tea were processed with the fruits of the Industrial Revolution under the supervision of the United Kingdom. Machines were used to roast and pick the leaves and help with other complicated processes. This greatly increased the efficiency and greatly reduced production costs. And the quality was even better! Assam! Assam! Taiwan saying no to industrialization caused tea prices to remain high, losing its price competitiveness on the international market. It came to a point where some unethical companies started to add inferior quality tea leaves in their exports in order to bring costs down. Of course, it only ended up destroying its reputation. In hindsight, Taiwan has been quite consistent in this matter. Oh, what are you talking about? There was another reason to Dadaocheng's downfall. Well, it had something to do with its natural environment. The Damse River next to Dadaocheng had a serious sediment accumulation problem. This blocked bigger vessels from entering the port. The boats got stranded. Help! Danshui's ports gradually lost its favor to the neighboring Keelung port. With all that being said, I'm sure you're all familiar with tea's history now. The society back then was a bit conservative. Mongjia stayed in its comfort zone while Dadaocheng chose to embrace the changes of the times. Quite a smart choice, right? Dadaocheng's adaptability allowed it to hop on the booming tea train, but later on it too rested on its laurels. It became the second Mongjia. When we look back, we see that sticking to the old ways and refusing to change was never the wise choice. But for those back in the days, the future trend probably seemed to be a bit too murky. Changes bring a lot of uncertainties. Nothing is ever guaranteed. In the face of an ever-changing environment, things can get out of a single industry's hands. It could even take competitors to work together to put their differences aside and cooperate with the government to cope with the changing tides. Of course, that's easier said than done. It's easy when it's all about you, but when it's us, it can be quite convenient to say it's their problem. Today, for the once flourishing industries, it may be high time to adapt. When adversity strikes, will they look at it as an opportunity or will it bring about misfortune? What mindset should we adapt to face these challenges? I suppose we should all take time to ponder on this. Alrighty, with all that being said, I'm a bit parched. So let me finish this glass of whiskey. We'll see you next time. Bye.